יוסף שפינל על הבסיס השני, שי אייכלר על הבסיס השלישי. אני בלי קול כבר מהאינינג הרביעי, אני לא יודע אם אתם מודעים לכך, אם כן אני מתנצל, אבל המשחק הזה גדול יותר. מכבי עלייה, רואים את התואר, רואים את האליפות, הכדור הזה מתגלגל, נעצר, זה יגיע לבסיס הראשון, מכבי עלייה לוקחת את האליפות, מכבי עלייה עושה את זה, אלופת החורף 2024, מי היה מאמין? שלום וברוכים הבאים לאי כושר הוטדוג, פודקאסט הבייסבול הראשון בעברית עם יוני לב-ארי ואנוכי ארז שעד. שלום יוני.
אהלן ארז.
יוני, משדר 219 מגיע אליכם פיזית, צריך להגיד, אנשים לא יודעים את זה, מתוך משרדים בתירוץ ובחסות תירוץ מסחר ויבוא עצים.
בין הבוק למייפל.
שכן, מי שלא יודע, אנחנו מוקפים פה, לא פיזית אבל פיזית, בכל סוגי העצים מכל רחבי העולם, ובדקתי אותם אחד אחד, הם באיכות יוצא דופן. צריך קצת לנפח, אני חושב.
איכות יוצא דופן, אתה יודע, יכול ללכת לכל מיני מקומות.
מה?
איכות יוצא דופן. זה לא אומר יוצא דופן לטובה, אתה יודע, צריך להדגיש את זה. טובה באופן יוצא דופן.
לא, טובה באופן יוצא דופן, כן. אתה כתבת את זה, אני רוצה להזכיר לך. בקרו אותנו בכתובת דרך בן צבי 20 ביפו או באינטרנט t-r.co.il, כי המחירים שלנו הם לא בדיחת קרש.
כל מה שאתם אוהבים בעולם העצים, וואו, זה
כן,
הפעם.
כן. טוב, יוני, אנחנו חוזרים לפרוייקט הפגרה שלנו.
Alright, I'm working on my
Yes, you are working on your English. Today we have somebody who I'm very, very happy. We had a bit of an issue because of some missiles falling on some schools.
Yemen people.
The Yemeni people, and then we have rain. So, hello, AJ Mittnik.
What's going on? Thanks for having me, Aris.
Oh, that's nice. See, we got a voice here. AJ, first of all, how is your daughter?
Surprisingly, she's great. It's something that's very almost weird. Friends from America text me and ask me the same question, like, "Oh, how's your daughter? How's she handling the situation?" And she's having fun, the first day.
I'm explaining. You were supposed to be here like 2 or 3 weeks ago. I don't remember the exact date. And in the morning, I think, a day before, I was told that a missile fell on originally I was told the kindergarten in Ramat Efal, which I know of because I lived in Kiryat Ono, so I was like, oh my God, it's like, very close to home for me. And the next thing, it turns out that it's elementary school, and it's your daughter's elementary school, and it fell on where her class was supposed to be.
We actually also live just down the street from the school, so, that it was in the middle of the night, so no kids were in school, and also B, that when it happened in the middle of the night, it hit the school where Dafka, nobody is there at that time, when all of us kind of live the way that it's built is that all of our homes are surrounding the school.
Which kind of, just for a second, which kind of will bring us to something else, because you come to us as the benevolent dictator for life, I believe. It's the term of a team called Maccabi Aliyah, who is it's a club, it's a moadon, and you have a baseball team, a basketball team, a women's hockey field team, and a bowling team.
I think you're confusing us with
the other Maccabi
some other stuff.
So you have a baseball, a basketball.
So right now, currently, we have the baseball team in the PL that just won the fall tournament in our first season.
Oh yeah, it's a championship.
We wanted to.
As the owner, you lifted the trophy.
We just won our first championship in baseball. Basketball, we just made it to the semifinals of the cup of the league that we're in, and we're undefeated in the league. So we're looking at promoting. And also winning the state cup.
Wow.
Which kind of sets a standard that, we're at our top teams looking to the top and looking for excellence. We have some players on our team, both baseball, but mainly on basketball. You have some guys who played in college, some guys who are in top youth departments.
Let's talk about them in a moment. What are the other teams?
And we have women's recreational basketball every Tuesday. And we also have, on Thursday, men's basketball recreation. So we're mainly a basketball club.
Right.
But, to the credit of Josh Alter, that we built a relationship while I was working in Allia, which was the club I was in the previous 3 years.
Right.
And when he found out that the direction we were going is partnering up with Maccabi and starting a new club, he was pretty...
I would say adamant.
Aggressive and amenable.
He's pretty he's very excited about stuff.
And I think that we both were pretty quickly able to realize that this could be a cool thing. And
it was.
We're trying to do cool things, so I'm happy so far.
All right, so before we delve into you as a person and then into this amazing project, and I have to say, not only, even if you wouldn't have won the championship, I would still say it's an amazing project. First, Yoni, who was born today?
Yeah, today it's January 10th, right?
It is.
Yeah. We have a Willie McCovey today.
A what?
Nice. Willie McCovey.
Oh, I thought you said Willie Maccabi.
Willie Maccabi Aliyah.
Yeah.
We have some other names. I think we can just flip them on. And we have a nice question.
Ask.
All right.
And you shall be answered.
Let's see.
Hopefully.
Name the only pitcher to reach 500, 600, and 700 complete games.
Complete games?
Complete games. He's the only one who achieved all of these.
Okay? 500 and above, let's say.
Yeah. And reach up to 700.
It's very important they say only, because they sometimes say which pitcher, and
then
we're like,
there
could
names.
be 1 or 5.
Yeah.
It's,
okay, so is it Paul Galvin, or Cy Young, or Pete Alexander, or Walter Johnson? That's supposed to be those names, the 1905.
Complete games. It's almost screams Cy Young.
Yeah? Well, yeah.
But you're saying
the other
it's...
two names, I think...
it's like trivia logic. If it's the obvious answer is always wrong.
Yeah. The opposite.
If this were the SATs, I would guess Cy Young for sure.
Well, I would guess C, Pete Alexander, because it's always C.
Okay, so you go with Cy Young, you go with Pete Alexander, I'll take Walter Johnson.
All right, then it's probably who's the first one? Bob Gibson?
Pat Galvin.
Pat Galvin.
Yeah.
Oh, I see. I saw G. Okay, and we will know who was right.
It's not like the SATs where you put 3 Israelis in a room and they all got it wrong.
Could be.
Well, that's a good thing we don't have. We don't get credited for our future in college about those things. Although it would have been nice if you had baseball questions in college. So anyway, but let's talk real business. You were born, as we can tell, in the US of A, New York.
I was born in New York, but I grew up most of my life in New Jersey, like in Livingston, New Jersey.
That's very... where in New York? Just
I lived in Queens till I was 5 years old, and
right,
moved to Livingston, New Jersey.
I was like, if you were born in Brooklyn and moved to New Jersey, that's like, we know you're Jewish now.
I have the flex now that my young son starts watching Spider-Man, and I'm from Forest Hills. That's the same town that Peter Parker's from.
Oh, that's beautiful. And he's a Mets fan, by the way.
My late grandfather, Jack, who actually my son has my son is DJ, is Danny Jack, the middle name from my grandfather. They were living in Bayside, and they had actually purchased the Mets bullpen van, as that was the car that my mom had when she was a kid, because it was on some sale, and they lived right in Queens, right near the Mets.
All right, and what did you do with after growing up in New Jersey?
So I grew up in New Jersey. I went to, Joseph Kushner Hebrew Academy and then Kushner Yeshiva High School. So I grew up in that community.
And baseball fan, basketball fan?
Was a pretty big time baseball player growing up. Always played baseball and basketball. I was a Orioles, Cal Ripken fan. My dad's originally from Baltimore.
Okay.
But obviously, growing up when the Yankees had Derek Jeter and were Bernie Williams and were pretty awesome.
The mid
the late 90s, even early 00s. Yeah, so I'll even say, I was a quite good baseball player. And basketball, I was always tall, but smart player, role player. And I loved the game more, basketball always, but baseball I was better. I won Cy Young of my little league, played on AAU teams. Yeah, I was a pitcher.
Well, I think you were a pitcher, leadoff hitter.
Was a guy when I was going to Jewish day school. All the other schools in the area were trying to recruit me to come play baseball.
And what
But
happened?
I actually, encountered a little bit of anti-Semitism during my period playing baseball.
Baseball is such a Jewish game.
Yeah, when I was 12 years old, a teammate of mine whose father was also the coach of the team, around the same time, another parent was overheard hearing this coach saying, "I can't believe I have to play this Jew over my son."
Goodness.
And then a couple practices later, the kid called me the K word, I don't want to say slurs on your podcast.
Well,
And,
we try not to.
Led to a pretty big escalation.
Yeah.
And
Which
then,
is-
the baseball field at the end of my house, without, tuning my own horn, baseball wasn't the most popular sport amongst the Jews in my town. And I was the only, let's say, known very good player who would go practice all the time.
Right.
And one day I went to the field and there was a pretty big swastika spray painted behind the
my
home
God.
plate. I do have friends from growing up who were African American, not the best athletes, who got racism against them. So,
Yeah.
maybe you
It
could say the
depends.
benefit of the doubt, but in the end of the day, bad people are bad people. What is it up for us to decide what's their motives?
Because and we don't talk politics, but we have to. And I don't know if it's politics. There's always the question when you encounter hatred. Do you, let's say, put your head down, or do you excel? Because you can say if you excel, you will prove that you are as good as everybody
Matter of
else.
character, I guess.
Well, I mean, I could say at least for me, when it comes
Mm-hmm.
to baseball, this was at a time before the Yeshiva League was having baseball teams.
Right.
So for me, it did kind of put me in a period of end of 8th grade of having to make a decision of to continue going to Jewish school and being in a Jewish environment or to play baseball.
Right.
And definitely if I did not encounter anti-Semitism before that, good chance I might have gone on continuing to play baseball.
That's interesting.
Whereas
So
that
they won.
was I mean, you could say that they
Yeah, I'm
won,
joking,
or
but, that's the point.
on a personal level, I liked baseball because I was good, but I loved basketball because I loved the game.
Right.
And I did dive much deeper into basketball from the moment that I stopped playing baseball.
Could have been
So it worked out well,
that's
all said
great.
and done.
I mean,
but
You're winning now with what you do here in Israel.
All right. So
I can say yes that this was a pivotal moment. Also, that's around the same time I started. I went not so long after that in a program called Rally for Israel 2, which was during the Second Intifada, coming to support Israel.
right.
So it was a little bit of faced anti-Semitism, kind of feel how things are going on around here, and definitely did make being Jewish a very big part of my personal identity.
That's interesting because it's kind of interesting how just because you were attacked on one of your identities, it actually made you more serious about it. It made you maybe it eventually brought you here.
It was something being a Jewish kid in America and Jewish programs, they'd sometimes ask us do you consider yourself a Jewish American or an American Jew? And I can sit here as an adult and say that after the experience I just said, after being in armored vehicles with children throwing rocks at the bus, being in more than 200 times in a shelter because of rockets, I'm a Jew first, I would say, pretty confident.
Which brought you to Israel when?
I came to Israel, I transferred to IDC Herzliya in 2009, so I've been here consistently since 2009. But really, I would say since 2002, since I was in the 9th grade, I had been spending, let's say, at least 2-3 months out of every year in Israel.
Your parents were born in the U.S.?
Yeah, my parents are both
Kid
born
family
in
in
the U.S. Had no now I have family in
Yeah,
Israel.
obviously. Your family.
But yeah, now let's say my age generation of myself and my cousins are the ones who have made Aliyah to Israel.
And you had a career in the U.S. or you came here?
No, I came here when I was 20 years old.
All right.
So I was still a student. I got my first degree. I had obviously worked.
Yeah, obviously it's different. In here, 20 years old, you're you don't even.
I've been back to the U.S. and worked a little bit in the period since, but for the most, since I've graduated college, I've been coaching basketball.
All right. So that brings you to let's say, took your love for basketball and became a coach. didn't have any idea. Did you think about staying an active player, or was it no longer in the cards for you?
I mean, I want to give a credit to the late Jan Sandusky, who was my high school basketball coach. That I was an excellent player in high school, but I'm a 6'2" center in a Jewish school, so it's my prospects to be able to play after that was really maybe I could be a third string player in Yeshiva University. So even my senior year of high school, I was already an assistant coach for the junior varsity. So I got to credit Coach Jan for giving me the push even early on.
Giving you the hard talk, saying, "Listen, kid, you will not. Let's look in the reality."
I don't even think it was a hard talk. Honestly, I was enough of a student of the game that by 12th grade I realized I wasn't going to be a player. But I will say, since that I've been to Israel, and especially now that not only was I in Ligat Al for 10 seasons, now I've been in these lower leagues. I do wish, hindsight being 2020, that I knew that if I made Aliyah, I would count as an Israeli player. I actually had skipped a grade, so I was 17 when I finished high school. That if I would have come to Israel after high school, made Aliyah, I could have played 2 more years of youth. I maybe could have. I didn't realize that there's such thing of league art seat in Israel that I can only play in it if I'm Israeli. I thought that my only options were college.
Right.
So definitely now this is one thing that I kind of am hoping to be part of the change.
Right.
Is that young Jewish athletes do have more exposure, that there is opportunities for them to continue playing.
That's good.
Maybe not even going to college in the United States.
Yes.
And I think there's also this stigma that players have of they're afraid that they're going to come to Israel and maybe be thrown in a war, which especially after the October 7th war is much more legit of a threat. But the truth really is that it's not the end of the world if an 18 or 19-year-old, instead of going to U.S. college, came to Israel, and maybe they'll have to, while they're being a player, be working in the Kiryah. It's not so bad. It's if anything, it'll help them make friends, help give them stability. Will give them more value in life.
Yeah,
than going to college in America.
Some people actually will get a career out of it if they come to the. I know I work with a lot of people who started in the army, and now they basically have a career in high tech because the army does give you a lot of career opportunities. Not everything is washing dishes and.
Even forgetting about career differences, I feel the quality of the certificate from a college degree has degraded. And I think if I'm looking now at 18, 19, 20-year-olds, some of the players I play with, a friend of Avinoam Sachs, I'm not going to say his name, the player, but I have a guy
Avinoam Sachs
on our
is
team
the guy we talked about.
That's been in special forces. He's going to hopefully come out at the end of February. He's the same age as college kids who I know who are going out drinking and doing who knows what, going to class, and there's a protest outside their class of anti-Israel, and instead he's going in trying to save the hostages. That who in the end of the day, in 10 years, 20 years, what am I going to respect more? People who came in here and were being a part of what were going on in Israel, are people who were taking some sociology class in Norfolk State.
And this is actually something I have to say, and and this will help us transition into Maccabi Aliyah, because I have to say, and a lot of respect to you. I was when you had, I think, the finals, and I really needed a player's name, or the semifinals. I was broadcasting, and I really needed to know who was this guy, because you made a last minute substitution. Never mind, and so I basically came to you, and you were doing the players' pep talk before the game. And Michael Levy, who's the coach, was giving them, come here, play, the pep thing. And then you started saying, listen, guys, remember, there are people right now in Gaza, in Lebanon, who are giving their lives to protect you. And I'm like, I don't know if that's, and to me, that's something, I don't think about that when I come to a ball game. But I think that for people I mean, why did you say that? That's a big question. Why did you think
so it's interesting. It's interesting you ask, because in also our amateur basketball programming, also our main basketball team, which we meet quite a bit before every single practice, before every talk, before every game. I first of all, that you can't put it out of the way. Aliyah's in the name. We're a Zionist organization,
right?
But I think there's a responsibility for everyone in charge of any misgeret, any thing going on in Israel. There are people like me and you who right now are in a dungeon in Gaza. The people here, we're getting sick now. It's bad weather. We're complaining about our lives. There are people who have been 460 days.
Right.
So whatever your political opinion is of how we should get them back, what should the government do, that's separate. We as people definitely should at least acknowledge what they're going through every day. So I think it's important for us to say that. And maybe it's because I've been living here for so long.
Right.
So I do have some friends who are on their fourth time in Gaza that. I do think if there are people who, because of them, we could be sitting here right now safe. Mm-hmm. We should at least take 1 minute before our practice to publicly acknowledge
it's not
them.
It's not like win for them.
Yeah, exactly. It's not like win for them, or it's not like
something that everybody
you have to win this
remember.
game because.
Who cares if we'll win or lose or whatever? It's definitely.
It's like there's a radio talk show that they start every hour with saying that. Don't forget them.
Listen to the radio.
Without even digging deep, there are people now that we're sitting here and having a baseball podcast. There are people now that are sitting in a trench,
that's the
an
point.
uncomfortable situation, so that we can be safe. We should at least say thank you.
We're a sports show.
What brought you? You said you were assistant coaching in the Ligat Al, the Basketball Premier League, and in the lower levels. What brought you to this project, this Aliyah team?
So, let's say during the period that I was an assistant coach in Rishon, Herzliya, and Maccabi, and Nes Ziona in my final year, I had, just from the natural, me being an American Jew playing here, every time a new American player would come to Israel, would reach out to them and help them through the situation. A rookie mitazreach, we call them, a naturalized citizen. You kind of it's not so easy. Sometimes there's been pushes to make rules against them, rules to limit how many you can have on each team, or to tax if you have over a certain salary, because you're kind of torn in the middle. Because to the Israeli players, even though also there are some players who use tricks and shticks to get passports,
right?
But the vast majority are similar situation like me, Jake Cohen grew up in a Jewish family, and what you have to judge how many times he went to shul on Shabbos, to be whether he counts as an Israeli player or not.
I always remember Ariel McDonald came here as a Slovenian citizen.
So there are some situations like that, but in the end of the day, I do think that a Jew should be counted as an Israeli. But also, even besides the rules, there is also the stigma, and you hang out with the Americans, but you count the Israelis, and to make it here, it's something it's not so simple.
Yeah, and some of them are not Jewish. Some of them
they are coming to be here, right? It's not like the Americans that.
It depends. It's on a situational basis. I'm saying, if your son all of a sudden would get a job offer in New York at a hedge fund, why would he play for a fifth of the money for Bnei Herzliya? You might tell him as a father, if they're an Israeli player, to go take that bank job.
Israelis going to the
States. It's you don't have to necessarily prejudge a player of how many years you'll stay here, because what should Tamir Blatt be punished because he got a great offer in Alba Berlin? Right. Of course he's gonna take it.
Obviously.
So basically, I, on a personal level, my career got stuck a little bit during Corona. My son Danny was actually born the same day they announced that Ligat Al would return. We were one of the only leagues in Europe that returned, and I was one of 3 people who had opted out of the restart of the league.
Right.
Thinking, I've been an assistant coach for 10 years. Probably I'll be able to stay for next year. If not, I'll find another team. Misjudged that it would be a very bad market. And I ended up being out for a year. I went back to the U.S. I worked in finance for missing the 2020-2021 season. And then I was able to, during the work from home era, make it that I could work from Israel for the following year. And
that's what you studied? Finance?
I studied finance, and Raviv Limonad had signed in Maccabi Ranana in second division, and we had a pretty good relationship in Ness Tziyona. He linked me up with the coach. I signed to be assistant coach in Ranana. Was Yossi Bonen, and around the same time,
there will be a guide for our baseball fans who are like me, have no idea what you're talking about. But
a guy who
that's okay. It's
I had been following Aliyah, their soccer team. That a college classmate of mine, Danny Markovitz, was one of the founders and board members. And they published just as I signed in Ranana that they were.
When was it founded?
No, so this was Aliyah.
Okay.
Aliyah, I think they were founded in, I want to say 2016, 2017. And they had posted that they were going to start a basketball team. And I had anyway, during the period when I was out, before I signed Ranana, had debated, okay, I have this WhatsApp group of Americans, maybe I can start something similar.
Yeah.
And I figured, okay, they're going on it, cool. Ended up leading the program, was able to sign some players who had played in Liga Leumit in recent years, like Olim, who were still here. We promoted in the first season, and really we're starting to build something good. We have a really special, unique group of guys in our basketball team. And then during the war, things got a little bit complicated. Aliyah actually closed their Amutah. So they moved
because of the war?
You could say. But they closed up shop going to the end of the season, and myself and several of the members of the basketball team linked up with Maccabi Israel, and started Maccabi Aliyah. So far we've had, just in our basketball team alone, players from 8 different countries. I think our baseball team is something like 7 different countries.
Only guys that come from outside, right?
So it's not only guys who come from outside. You seem like Israeli basketball. Meir Tapiro is in his 3rd season playing with us.
He's
playing with us. Meir and I.
Amazing.
He's about to turn 50. The last 3 games has actually been fantastic.
Oh. But it's a unique thing, right? It's not like you have to be Meir Tapiro.
So first of all, and I could say this because I was working with Meir Tapiro when he was GM in Ness Tziyona and I was assistant coach, that if I'm on a team with Meir Tapiro, Muvan Me'elav, that we're going to bring 4 foreigners to be the main players in our team. So it's not so crazy for me to bring a couple homegrown Israeli players who live near our gym to be helpful players to our team. So we have Meir.
These are the foreigners, right?
We joke with the Israeli players that they're like the Zarim. And but what makes it even more unique, another layer we add to it, is one of the players who's actually our best player, Ron Khangal, played for me in the youth in Maccabi Tel Aviv, and I was assistant coach for Adi Amos in under 16. And, slipped through the cracks, was his rookie year, a Nar poster, end of the bench player in second division, and then came to play for us, and now is a monster. We've helped develop him. We just switched his position, gave him confidence. We have 2 other, so he's 20 years old, and we have another 19-year-old, and another, that even though we're a team of Olim, it is important for us as an Israeli sports team, as an Israeli basketball team, Team Iguda Kadursal, to develop young Israeli players. That's one of the missions of the Iguda Kadursal, which we're in. And it has been something that's been fantastic for our program because, some of the guys on my team are CEOs, that bringing in young guys with motivation who practice hard, and also for them, it is they're getting exposure to guys who work in high tech, the young Israeli kids, speaking English in every practice. One of the kids, he has, it's first of all, one of them now has a American girlfriend that he met that was on Birthright, so he's helping us bring.
I was okay, see ya.
But I'm saying he's, I was just showing her the other day, his text messages from when he was in high school. just to see how much his English has improved from being around us.
He has an American girlfriend. I was showing him his text. He does not have an American girlfriend anymore.
No,
I'm joking.
More like I'll be late. With spelling late. Spelling late like latte.
I mean, I work in high tech, and I have. So there is a criteria to coming, or how do you contact those people? I mean, do you just sit next to in Natbag and okay, are you a player?
Fortunately, I would say, through whether it's Tamir Goodman or some of the other players who are in first division. He lives in Yerushalayim, he's Tamir is one of the
Israeli
I would say he's the Chesed Michael Jordan.
Mm-hmm.
He's the Michael Jordan of Chesed, one of the nicest, most generous, you
do have some, Peter Kurtz, we call him the Moyle Whisperer. I mean, if there's a Jewish baseball player, he knows of him before that person is born.
There is a group of, let's say, some of the old, been around the block a couple times, Olim in basketball, who are looking to help people. And I think since I also am looking to help people, I've been lucky that, sometimes guys just fall into my lap, we're the type of club, there's a player who came to Israel, was trying out for Division II, didn't get offered a full contract, and ended up practicing with us for a while. And if we were the type of team, let's say if I was an Israeli team, I could have for sure closed him and got him to play for us. He was in our gym every day working hard and was having trouble finding a team, but I got him a team 2 leagues up from us. That I think that and not just myself, a lot of the other players on my team, help guys get jobs, help guys get apartments, are nice. So yes, I do scout. I go through lists of college players and look for names that seem obvious that maybe they're Jewish. I'm hoping as we'll go up the leagues, we'll have the privilege to be a little bit more aggressive. Maybe we'll have apartments to be able to house players, and it'll be easier to get some bigger names, high profile names. But for the most part, most of the players who've come to us, our top players, are guys who've come out here with higher aspirations, who we've been helping them, and then because it's not easy to make it as an Ole, in their third division teams, getting DNPs and most of the time, and nobody's really caring about your situation.
Right.
Whereas I might show up at your game, or I might text you and tell you to keep your head up, and that does lead to guys asking, I'm not happy with my situation, maybe I can come play for you.
Where's your home court?
We play in Nofim, pretty close to here actually, in South Tel Aviv.
Mm-hmm.
But you're not a geographic place, right?
We're not a geographic place. I love Beit Sefer Nofim. The staff there is great. The principal of the school is very nice and flexible. We're very happy with that facility. But let's say long term, we're, right now we are Tel Aviv, but let's say our mindset is national. I won't take a player because they don't live in Tel Aviv.
And you think about it as a sports team, so you're not going to say no, I will not promote to whatever Liga, second division, first division, because I want the CEOs to remain. And
we already are in the works. In Inter Aliyah, we were doing the same thing. That one will go up next season even. We're going to open up a B team in the 5th division.
That's good.
Which I'm really looking forward to, because I have some guys on my team who are, without cutting corners, are third string players on this team. That in the league that we're in now could be 20, 25 minutes a game players, even starters.
Right.
That have been so nice of them that they were willing to come down for the year and practice hard and keep the vibes good.
Right.
You could easily be on a team where these guys are complaining and causing problems, and if anything, they're lifting us up. So definitely looking forward to them getting also helping us go up and then getting a chance to play next year.
And are you looking for other sports, other teams, or is this you're comfortable where you are?
When you establish a new amuta, we were recommended to keep it short. I actually was planning just to only have basketball before Josh kind of slipped
Josh'd
in.
you into a position.
Just before we founded our organization, I had to write on the paper you're either kadrusal or kadrusal v'beigbol. Josh got me to put the baseball in.
That's Josh. When he decides to do something,
so for at least the next couple of years, like we'll just be basketball and baseball. Mm-hmm. But you know, like it's one step at a time.
Is this your main job?
Working for right now. For right now.
And how can before we talk a little bit about the baseball team, how do people who are interested contact you, or is there because there's no website?
For right now, you can contact us on Instagram at Maccabi Aliyah on Instagram. Mm-hmm. But we're working on a website. You know, we just opened up shop in August, cool. Really end of August. And let's say my first priority, you know, before going out and trying to find new sponsors, first priority is to build a quality product, to make sure that we have winning teams, have a great community, have a good group of guys, that there's something like a base. Like I think, you know, action and results like comes before talking.
Right.
So I think we've done that. We're well on our way to doing that. And like hopefully, if we'll keep doing what we're doing, doors will open us for up.
And obviously, now that you won the championship, you have to pay the championship bonus to your players, so you're a little bit in debt.
So I will even say, I will even say, you're saying it like a joke, but Michael Levy, our baseball coach, who was phenomenal in the championship game, did have in his agreement with us a championship bonus, and I happily.
What do you mean by phenomenal?
He
pitched
through 7 innings.
He pitched a full game.
He pitched the whole game.
Michael Levy.
He's the coach.
He's the coach.
He pitched.
So like
he picked himself to be the pitcher.
Yeah.
Well, kind of. Akiva Epstein, who is like you know, best pitcher in the PL, also is the assistant coach of the under 18 national team.
That's right.
And he had made a choice not to play a couple days before, and also Rupert Cervesos, like who was
the
we had a few South American players who were fantastic.
That's the fun thing.
We have a big South American community.
That's the thing. I mean, looking at your team, it's like an MLB player team in terms of the names, because you have American names and you have South American names.
No, I would actually have to ask like if you have that out before I get it wrong.
What?
Where is it from?
I want to say Rupert is from Cuba.
Oh, we had.
But
you know, once we had a Cuban player.
Okay.
Johandre, he was playing like 15 years ago. I remember everybody was talking about it. It was like a big thing.
But. You know, we were missing our, like, let's say 2 statistically best pitchers, and you know, I'll even say Michael a couple games before that had, like, that he has had some good games before that, but
he's listed as a player.
He's registered as a player.
Yes.
He had
he pitched Inter Alia, and we're gonna talk a little about them. Inter Alia last it's funny, last season, it was still this year. He pitched for them on the opening game, and they won. And that was almost their only win in that season.
It was the only win.
It was. So I didn't remember. And they won. And the funny thing, they won over the same team, the U18 team, on that game, which was amazing because that was their first game, first win. Everybody was like, "Oh my God, we're gonna have a new juggernaut in the league." Well, not really.
Listen. At the start of the season, you're like, last year when Inter Aliyah started baseball, I was not really involved, other than like when they got to like the finish line.
Yeah.
And they didn't have any players or a coach. I was like, "What's this?" Like, called David Weiss. Who I believe is was the Little League national team coach, and he recommended Michael, who was his assistant, to coach. And then Michael was able to ragtag put a team together. I'm not sure how. They had tryout or whatever, and they were pretty bad. And I was, really only second half of the season when I realized
it's also only Olim, new.
More or less.
Yeah, okay.
And when I realized
half the league can qualify for that.
When I realized there was a chance either that the situation in Inter Aliyah was either I was going to be taking it over or starting something else. Started to come around to the baseball games end of the season and was very dissatisfied, like, with how the team was, like, feeling and how unorganized it was. So at the beginning of the season, you know, when I brought Michael back, I was really driving him crazy.
The last one?
This season, I was driving him crazy. Like, when we had the first tryout, like, he actually was even still in the States, like, I was pretty tough on him. And we did have, like, a period that I was, like, really pushing him to, like, upgrade the team. We ended up signing those Polanco brothers. Like,
Polanco?
Roberto and Rodrigo, I think.
Yeah, and...
No.
Like, we were missing a catcher. One was one of the best catchers, and another was an outfielder that was, like, the fastest base runner I've seen in this league.
Yeah, insane.
And,
where did you find those guys?
You know, like, they were friends of Rupert. Like, that Michael did, like, after I lit a fire under him, hit the phones and recruit and get some good players. And then, you know, like, end of the season, when... You know, plan A, plan B, plan C fell out the window out of nowhere. He stepped up like giver and gave his best game ever and won a championship. Like,
but that's the thing. And the thing about Michael is, I mean, Josh is a bit like that also on the mound. He's a guy who carries the whole team on his back. And when he can, you know, pound the zone and get the players' swings and misses, there's a momentum to him, and I don't know, sometimes you want the pitcher to ignore everything, live in his own head. Michael is the opposite. Michael is, the more he's have success and he's feeling the game, he's like taking everything, he's like talking to every player.
Like Bobrov style.
I mean, listen,
Offer Bobrov, and it's so fun seeing him because he's orchestrating the whole game from the mound, because what I remember from the first game, and he did it again, and basically it was a question of not if, but when. When will is the team give him the lead and take the win? It was almost a given at that point. I know you didn't see that.
Listen, like, I'm the type of guy who, like, my origin of, like, you know, how things should be in professional sports. You know, the first bunch of coaches I was assistant for is Effie Birnbaum, Svika Sheriff, Muli Katsurin, Arik Shibik. Michael did have to bear the brunt of me pretty much demanding results. You know, like, I'll even say on here, like, we didn't join Maccabi specifically for no reason. Maccabi is the best. Right. So we're Maccabi of baseball. We have to be the best baseball team. Like, we're like the Maccabi of Israeli baseball right now.
The only thing is winning.
Like, we're Maccabi. Like, it's not so crazy to this year, next year, to be the team that plays in Europe of baseball.
So because of that, I will have to, because you said that, not because of any other reason, I will have to tell you that we everything is fun, but you were given not a curveball, the opposite of a curveball this season. Because this season, one of the Misgav teams were not playing, and the playoff games were not a series. So you had... I didn't say...
Well, first of all, that was anyway the format of the fall tournament.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not saying you didn't take advantage of the situation. What?
It's like a COVID season.
Something like that. I didn't say you didn't take advantage, but next...
you could also...
The spring season, you will have to bring your A
game. You could
hard.
also look at it in another direction, in that, like, when we had, like, players were missing and teams that were supposed to play against us backed out, we were all of a sudden given switcheroos of, like, day before. You know, in the Iguda Kadursal, there's, like, rules of how you switch games. You know, like, whereas in baseball, especially in the year with the war, we had a couple of last minute switches.
Switches like what?
That, like, where we played against Ranana, when, like, we had a bunch of, like, guys away and injuries, but we were originally supposed to play against the under-18 national team, but the under-18 national team hadn't had their tryouts yet. So like, all of a sudden, the day before, 2 days before, they tell us, oh, like, we're playing Ranana. We didn't get the choice.
But it's not like you're scouting. You're playing against whoever comes, right?
Yeah, I mean, no, you have a league. It's the Liga Al of baseball.
Like you're sitting with your pitcher and you tell, okay, listen, we're playing tomorrow against U18. They have this lefty.
But if you know this guy has a good record against us players.
Like in any other league, you can't just, like, we're supposed to play a team, and then, like, 2 days before that, like switch it that
Yeah,
we play a
of course.
stronger
Of course,
opponent
yeah.
without
Yeah,
us
yeah, yeah.
consenting to it.
Listen, I'm not saying.
So
it's-
we actually could have. You could look at it the other way. That like if things were, in my perspective, all the way fair, we could have had a better record, better seeding, easier
I'm not
path to
saying-
the championship.
Well,
I'm
see that
no,
next season.
that's the point. I'm not saying you are a fluke. I'm saying you played good. Next season, you
And you
have
know,
to
I'm
bring
also-
your A
I'm-
game.
I'm
And if
also-
you will win, listen, if you will win, I don't even say the championship, but if you will be as good a team on the spring, I am guaranteeing that I will stand in front of God and YouTube, and I will praise your team for the high heaven as an announcer and in this podcast. Because I love those things. I love the players in the PL, and I think the world of them. But I'm saying this was a good season, but it was a good story. I think next season you have to bring your A game, and I'm challenging you to bring your A game and make me eat my words.
Yeah, but you know, like the fact that it's a good story is awesome. I'm a little bit disappointed at how little that story is heard. I feel like Israeli baseball is something
Which
that's
is
kind of
the next
like
question I was about to ask you.
You know, like I'm not so satisfied with the state of it,
Mm-hmm.
and definitely something needs to be done to make it there to be more outreach. You know, like I can say as somebody who like,
Mhm.
is in a circle of people who are very interested in Israeli sports. You know,
Right.
people in Ligat Al know what's going on in Ligat Al Kadoregel. You know, even like handball, if like Rishon will win the championship, like sometimes people will just know
Handball
that
handball is on
baseball
TV every
is
Friday.
a sport that like if I'll say to somebody like, oh yeah, I'm a Israeli baseball champion, like with Maccabi Aliyah, they'll laugh and think it's a joke before
Yeah.
like realizing, oh, that it's true. It's not something that unless you like follow me on Instagram would know about, like which is sad.
Yeah.
Like and I can even say, you know, like the World Baseball Classic, you know, like I don't think like any of I don't think.
Yeah. Well,
Like if I'm talking to the dads in Gan that like I'll know that Luka Doncic, like what his box score was last night, they don't know that like Israel has a great baseball team or that there's like Israelis.
we're aware of that,
Well, you know, because there's also the level of like club loyalty, you know, like that. I'm hoping us as being Maccabi will help to shift the gears a little bit because I want someone in Hapoel to think, oh, what's it? Maccabi wins the championship of baseball.
Let's
Make a
Hapoel
team to try to beat
Let's
me.
make a Poel Aliyah.
Or
You know
Hapoel Tel
journalists,
Aviv.
right? You know, or Shkedi, or guys like this, or Arale, or whatever. You know people that can make things different in the media.
So did you,
Let's
but,
see.
Yeah, I
Let's
know, but he's in there.
yeah, okay.
let's see if we could convince them to use any of that real estate on baseball. You know, like they might not get the clicks,
You have to
so
try.
they don't want to do
You
it.
have
to
You know,
try.
like,
Did you
We
try?
will let's park this for a
not yet. Not
let's
yet.
park this for a few seconds. I will want to talk a little bit about Israeli baseball, and then we will close up. But before that, I think it's time to tackle the expert, Yoni. You will have to face the music and figure out who are these players. Maybe you will even know that. It's a game. I picked randomly a game from between 1998. So we start with Stephen Drew,
Oh.
who was the shortstop. This is the lineup.
We have to
It's-
guess the teams in the season.
Yeah, and the umpire and the score. Trent, oh my God, Trent Oweltjen,
Yeah, you can move on.
Oeltjen, left field.
Okay.
Gerardo Parra,
Oh.
center field.
Uh-huh.
Was a baby shark.
Yeah.
Mark Reynolds was the third baseman.
Uh-huh.
And Miguel Montero, the catcher, that's the fifth player. And then you have Chad Tracy, first baseman,
Team, what's that?
who was substituted by Rusty Ryle, pinch hitter.
This is horse, right?
Alex Romero, the right fielder. And batting 8 was Ogi Ojeda.
We're not playing AAA, right? Only
No. Maybe, I don't know. And he was relieved, substituted by Esmerling Vasquez, who was a pitcher. And batting 9, Max Scherzer, pitcher.
Oh, okay. I thought about the Nationals, so because of the Baby Shark.
Well, he said also the
Okay.
era, so that's pre-nationals.
No?
You
Sorry,
said
who?
you said in the 90s.
No, it's
No,
from
1998 to
98
2024.
Oh, wow,
The
okay.
last 25 years, so to speak. And Max Scherzer was relieved by Josh Weitzel, Clay Zavada, Blaine Boyer, and Ryan Roberts, who was a pinch hitter.
I was relieved by Max Scherzer. It's not Max Scherzer. I have no idea what's going to do.
Okay, maybe you will have better luck with the second team. Batting first, second base, Kelly Johnson.
Who?
Yeah. Batting second,
Johnson.
right field, Matt Diaz. Batting third base, Chipper Jones.
Oh, Chipper Jones?
Chipper Jones.
Okay.
He was relieved by Eric O'Flaherty and Mike Gonzalez, both pitchers. Then you have Garrett Anderson, left fielder, substituted by Reed Gowerke, left fielder. Yunel Escobar was batting 6, shortstop. Adam LaRoche, first base. Ryan Church batting 8, center fielder. Batting 7, center fielder. David Ross, the catcher. And batting 9, Tommy Hanson, who was substituted by Greg Norton, Boone Logan, and Omar Infante, who was the third baseman. My God, I wish I could take a picture of you now.
Is that real?
Is that real?
Would I like AI or something?
Would I? Oh my God! This is usually what I look like at the end.
My goodness, what Chipper Jones is doing there?
Playing third base, of course. He had
Wow. Do you have any idea? Teams are?
I mean, I have a guess.
Yeah, guess.
It's a random guess.
Okay.
August 2013, Pirates versus Braves.
Just like this? No. 2013?
Yeah.
Pirates, Braves. No, listen,
Okay.
I know. Scherzer didn't play for the Pirates.
I don't know. I'm saying that's my guess.
All right.
You know, now that you're saying, because Scherzer and Para were playing together at the Nationals, that I know.
Yeah.
But not at the time that Chipper
Not
Jones
at this time. That is correct.
Not at the time that Chipper Jones was playing baseball.
Exactly. So
Yeah.
you're only
we're
thinking 2019.
Yeah,
Chipper
now
Jones was like in the Hall of Fame at 2019.
So we're going back to Detroit. I don't remember if Hernando Parra was playing.
Yeah, but Detroit was not in the National League.
Yeah,
This
but
is a National League game.
Scherzer was playing somewhere else in between.
Maybe.
In between the Tigers and the Nationals? I don't remember that.
Maybe.
My goodness, listen, this is a tough one.
This is a tough one. Yeah, I was surprised when I saw it.
How did you find it?
That's completely random.
Okay.
This is a cool exercise, though. I would have fun doing this game of basketball. Like, I might throw it to some of my players as a post-practice fun, like, late chat game.
Yeah, give them 2 teams.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, listen, I'll go with the Nats. Because I just don't find any other thing.
Mm-hmm.
Nats Braves, but no other player was playing. No, only Chipper Jones is the only. Not Kelly Johnson. Kelly Johnson was playing with the Braves.
Yeah. Listen, Jones never left the Braves, so it has to be the Braves.
Okay, so I'm going with Nationals Braves.
And the year?
2014.
Wow, that's interesting. So Chipper Jones, let's just download this. What did I just do?
Well, are you going to tell us the answer?
No, I'm going to leave you.
We're going
go
go
home.
Next episode, you start the next episode with the answer.
Okay, so first of all, this is what happened.
That's a good hook to get your audience to click on the next one.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you the next one. Well, we won't remember. The teams are the Arizona Diamondbacks.
Really?
Against the Atlanta Braves.
Okay.
A game that took place at 4:05 p.m. local in front of 23,668 attendance at Turner Field for 2 hours and 45 minutes.
Which channels was it on?
August 17, 2009.
And what was the weather?
Hernando Parra was playing in 2009.
Yeah, he was very young player in 2009. He was later on. Field condition is unknown. It's 86 Fahrenheit. Wind was
I was joking.
right, left, and it was
Scherzer
cloudy.
was playing.
Max Scherzer started his career at Arizona for 2 years, moved to Detroit.
Wow. Wow.
For 2010 until 2014.
Did you remember that?
When I saw his name, yeah.
No, before.
No, I forgot about it.
I didn't know that.
And I forgot about it, but then I saw his name and I was like, oh yeah, right.
Wow.
And then he moved to Washington in 2015.
And they played together, right? Para and him in Washington.
Yeah,
Right?
of course. They had to.
Yeah,
The 2019 championship.
Yeah.
Chipper Jones, you'll be delighted to know, was actually retired by 2012. So there was no way for him.
I tried to find the last one, the last season.
So there was no way for him
Wow,
to
that
be
was
there.
a tough
And then Gerardo Parra.
Yeah, but you got to give me some credit that I got the Braves right, though.
Yeah,
you
that's
did.
good.
You did.
That's good. Gerardo Parra started in 2009 in Arizona, and then he made to Milwaukee, Baltimore, Colorado,
His rookie
and
season.
2019 in Washington took a championship. He made a cameo appearance, 53 games in 2021.
Yeah.
Okay, so before we let you go, and let you go, Yoni.
And you too.
No, I'm letting
And
everyone go.
Okay.
So you touched on that. Baseball is, how should we say it, not the most the number one sport in Israel. It's not number 9. It's not number 20. I don't even know when.
Now listen, if I wanted to go buy my son a baseball glove, where would I go? I have to buy from America.
You do?
Yeah.
I don't know, Yoni.
What?
Buying a baseball glove.
Yeah, no, you
Yeah.
can't buy it here. No way.
All right.
Yeah. We're walking about bets. We're
Yeah.
walking on it. Trying to get bets here.
Give me your. Let's say you've given carte blanche how to fix Israeli baseball. Let's make it popular. Let's make it.
I don't know if fix.
No, I'm joking. I'm joking. I'm. As you can see, we are the good interviewer, bad interviewer. I'm asking the hard question, and he softens them up. Now, seriously, give me some. Because you're a man of vision, as we can establish. How do we get this? Because that's the question we keep asking. How do we make the sport more popular, bring more eyeballs, bring more kids, make it, I don't know, not number 10, but number 8, maybe number 5 eventually?
I think it's also more of, I'm not sure how correct I am about this because I don't have like market research to back this up, but I do think that there is a large group, or relatively large group, of Jewish Americans who are already here who like baseball. Some of whom will stay up all night for like an important baseball game, like to watch like playoffs of a team that they grew up on.
Right.
That don't know or care that there's leagues here, and we kind of need to remedy that. I'm not sure what's the exact way to reach them. And then I also think like kids who are in yeshiva for the year programs or gap year programs who are baseball fans who, like, it would take some effort by us to, like, convince them to get out to the field. Like, one of the challenges now is also that there's not so many fields. So, like, there are, let's say, maybe some players who maybe would have wanted to play for us, but don't really want to schlep to Petah Tikva to some field in the middle of nowhere.
Let's just say it's not even Petah Tikva. It's
at
the edge of Petah Tikva.
Yeah, it's not so
exactly.
easy, to convince people to come, whether it's to play or to be a spectator. So I think that's something like which is it's easy to say, but like to make things happen is much more difficult. And like I think there's no other way to sugarcoat it that unless you get like Robert Kraft or like insert another name of like someone who's both loves sports, very philanthropic, who is motivated to build baseball back in Israel without there being like a personal gain, with like the gain being that he grows a game that he loves.
Yeah, it's going to be a personal loss, let's just say.
Unless that'll be the case, it'll be very difficult to do anything that would really make it happen. So let's hope that step one is that some rich guy out there sees I won a championship in the PL and wants to beat us. A new, beautiful baseball field with a scoreboard and stands and, place where they sell gum and soda and popcorn like a normal game. It's the only way for that to happen is for there to be a lot of money involved. And I don't think it's so easy to convince the Misrata Sport, that it's worth it. That it'll have to come out of somebody's pocket. Who would love to see it happen? I don't see any other way of it happening. Mm-hmm. For, we have a lot of plans of, starting youth teams in English, of, bringing Olim athletes from college and finding them housing and,
is the situation here improving, detrimental at the moment?
Yes and no, but I would say for right now, it is okay to put pause on let's say fundraising.
Yeah.
While right now it is more pressing to there's units that need hand warmers.
Obvious.
So
yeah.
I think hopefully. I mean, listen, the under 18 national team is a good group of guys. I've seen the under 16 that Natan Bash coaches. Looks like a good group of guys. Mm-hmm. One of the things that really is missing in the PL is where I've been asking that Michael, we're recruiting players, where's a 27-year-old player who grew up playing Little League? There isn't. Mm-hmm. So yes, if we'll keep going that Josh has been putting in good effort. I see David Weiss putting good effort, and Mizgav, I hear they're putting good effort. There is places where they are developing players. So if we'll get to a situation 5 years from now, 10 years from now, where you do have a group of players who are playing and they send their kids to play.
In 5 to 10 years, the level of playing will be... But I think one level above.
But I do think that if you will continue this approach, I think you can make a big boost to it by reeling in Olim and gap year students who are here to be in the mix in baseball, that are currently outsiders. So not only outsiders, don't even really know or take seriously that there's baseball.
All right. So this brings us to the end of the show, where I usually say, if you know a baseball fan, tell him about the podcast. Well, tell him about the Israeli baseball. Mm-hmm. He will say thanks.
It goes together.
Yeah, but we have to end. I mean, AJ, we can have you here. I mean, we didn't even scratch the surface of your. We didn't even get Sodot from Hadar Al-Basha and what's Vika Sherf without clothes or stuff like that. Okay, maybe too much information, but
I don't really like where this is going.
yeah. What I do, but anyway, it's been fun. But unlike baseball, we do have a time limit. Oh, that was nice.
Yeah.
And it's just about now, but not before. Yoni will tell us that what is his name? Pat Gondola was the.
Who was the name of the pitcher who reached 500, 600, and 700 complete games?
Yes.
Is it Cy Young, which AJ picked, Pete Alexander, which Erez picked, or I took Walter Johnson, or maybe it's Pat Galvin? And who
knows?
All right, the answer is Cy Young.
It is Cy Young. Well, obviously.
With 5 in.
What did you have in your SATs?
That's pretty good.
All right. So what did he do?
He reached 500 in 1903, 600 in 1905, and 700 in 1909.
And never won the Cy Young.
You use that.
Yeah. We used the joke. We abused that joke. Well, so נסיים בזאת, יוני.
Yes.
לא יודע אם אתה יודע, אבל ניתן למצוא אותנו באתר בייסבול, פודקאסט co.il, או ביוטיוב, youtube.com/strudel_hotdog. And once again, it's מכבי עליה on Instagram. If you want
מכבי.עליה.
Sorry, how?
מכבי.עליה.
Dot. מכבי.עליה.
מכבי.עליה.
And if you can't spell either Maccabi or Aliyah,
Maccabi with double C, right?
Double C.
And Aliyah is
ALIYAH.
Oh God! Just ask us on Facebook, and we'll give you the deets.
I think if you write it in Hebrew,
it's the correct spelling of both words.
I don't.
Write it in Hebrew, you'll find it, I guess.
Maybe.
עלייה. תוכלו למצוא את הפודקאסט, לא את מכבי אלא אותנו, באפל פודקאסט, ספוטיפיי וכמובן בכל האפליקציות.
Anyway, any of your readers or anyone who's in baseball has to see the Petah Tikva. Like I had to go to Petah Tikva so they can figure it out.
I'm still excited when they drive on Jerusalem and they get to the end of a highway and it says Begin Road.
Begin Road,
yeah.
I've gotten that joke before.
Yeah, Begin Road. And that was the joke. No, that's a different joke. דרגו אותנו, תנו לנו משוב, סנו לייק, פרגנו ב5 כוכבים, אם אתם באמת מכירים מישהו שאוהב בייסבול, תגידו לו על הפודקאסט, ספרו לו על הבייסבול הישראלי, אנחנו נגיד לכם תודה, ונגיד תודה מיוחדת למפיק האחראי שלנו, חיים כץ. אתה יודע, הוא פגש רופא חדש. עבר רופא סוף סוף. כן, הרופא בדק אותו, אמר לו, טוב, מסתבר שיש לך מים בברכיים, אבנים בכליות וסיד בעצמות, הוא רשם לו היתרי בנייה. כן, משתדל. ניתן להמשיך את הדיון בפייסבוק, או באתר המאזרשיפ שלנו, hoops, C-O-I-L.
Reading me and then we make it.
All right, and AJ, next year I will be honored to broadcast your games on the Goods YouTube channel, and I'm sure you will probably be more honored to replace me with somebody from Channel 5 who will come there, but until then that's what we have.
Step by step. Maybe we'll get you to Channel 5.
Oh, that would be the day. Yoni Mashilo, not you. No, Yoni's had heat
I
there.
think you and Simi Rieger would have a lot of
That'll be fun, that'll be fun.
That would be fun. יוני, מה שלום? מה לפני שסוגרים?
לא, אין לי מה חדש. היה פה מספיק.
תודה לכם על ההאזנה לאי כושר הוטדוג עם יוני לב-ארי וארז שץ, בייסבול טוב ישראל.
יאללה ביי. Spider-Man.
Yeah, yes.
Oh,
It's
course,
it's documented. Actually, most of Marvel, because of they are like bums and not they are Mets fans. It's really
So
when you were like 4 and
no,
2000.
I'm 1989.
I'm joking.
You don't see the little white in the beard.
Yeah, oh yeah, please. You see a little brown in this beard. And every time I shave the beard, I'm like, oh my god, I probably got rid of the last non-white hairs I have. So, okay, Yoni.
Yeah. There's no future for us in college. That's why.
All right, so let's go back to you. First of all, AJ Mittnik, I really have to ask you about this AJ thing. First of all, how do you write it, like 2 letters or with dots? It's very important.
In English, if I write it, I'll just write AJ. I could get technical and put the A period, J period.
Gmail.
Yeah, so there's a few ways of writing. There's a few ways of writing it. So I
Right.
got to credit my Hebrew way I write my name to Orshkedi. Because my wife would just write it like Agi, it doesn't really count.
And it's what was the last who was the last time you were named by your I wouldn't say Christian name, Hebrew full name?
My American, my English name. The last person who called me
Your mother and you were 5.
was Mrs. Gare in first grade. Refused to call me by AJ. That's that, and also telemarketers, Bituach Leumi. If somebody calls and asks to speak to Aaron or Aaron,
and the full name is
it's Aaron Joshua.
This is a scoop.
Aaron Joshua.
Aaron Joshua.
You're Josh. You're Josh.
And it's such a mothers and teachers. Aaron Joshua Mittnik.
Yeah, I just didn't even get that. Even for my parents, there's this minhag, that between your birth and the Brit Milah, that they don't call you by your actual name. So in that period, they called me AJ, and it stuck. So there really wasn't.
Amazing.